Welcome back to Brain Bitesize. Today, we're diving deep into a thought-provoking topic, feeling versus thinking. Have you ever wondered how your mind operates when it comes to decision-making? Do you lean more towards feeling or thinking in your daily life? Today, we have an exciting personality test to help you discover where you fall on the feeling-thinking spectrum. Define the dichotomy. This dichotomy categorizes how we make decisions and process information. On one hand, we have thinking, which involves making decisions based on objective logic and rational analysis. People leaning towards this side of the dichotomy are often analytical, objective, and focused on the task. They value truth and justice and strive for fairness in their endeavors. On the other hand, we have feeling, where decisions are made based on personal values and how these decisions will affect others. Those who lean towards this side are typically empathetic, compassionate, and considerate. They place significant importance on interpersonal harmony and are often driven by emotions and values. It's important to note that neither of these preferences is better or worse than the other. They're simply different ways of processing information and making decisions. And most importantly, they do not exist in isolation. Your personality is a blend of four dichotomies: extroversion or introversion, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, and judging or perceiving. These preferences are your natural inclinations and contribute to your personality's complex tapestry. Exploring thinking and feeling. Starting with thinking, this mode is about stepping back from situations and objectively examining them. Thinkers are like detectives, sifting through data, using logic, and analyzing cause and effect relationships. They make choices based on an objective standard of truth. Personal feelings or sentiments do not sway their decisions. Facts, principles, and logical reasoning guide them. They often ask questions like, what makes the most sense? Or, what is the most efficient way to do this? In contrast, feeling represents a more subjective approach to decision-making. Feelers prefer to step into situations, immersing themselves in the context and emotions. They empathize with others, consider personal values, and evaluate decisions based on compassion and relationships. They often prioritize how the decisions affect others and strive to maintain harmony and positive relationships. For feelers, questions like, how will this affect people? Or, is this in line with my values? Often guide the decision-making process. These two modes are not inherently better or worse than the other. They simply represent different ways of approaching decisions. The key is understanding and respecting these differences, as they contribute to our diverse ways of thinking, feeling, and interacting with the world. Whether you lean more towards thinking or feeling, each mode has its unique strengths and challenges, and understanding them can help us communicate more effectively and make more balanced decisions. Balancing fairness. In decision-making, thinkers and feelers strive for fairness, but their interpretations of what constitutes fair can differ significantly. With their objective approach to decision-making, thinkers view fairness as the uniform application of rules and principles, irrespective of individual circumstances. They see fairness as a consistent system where everyone is subject to the same rules and consequences. To them, deviating from these rules or making exceptions based on personal situations would undermine the system's fairness. On the other hand, feelers, with their empathetic and subjective approach to decision-making, perceive fairness differently. They believe in considering each person's situation and making exceptions when necessary. For them, fairness is not just about equal treatment but also equitable treatment. They consider the individual needs, circumstances, and feelings of the people involved. Treating everyone equally might only sometimes result in fairness, especially if it disregards an individual's specific context or situation. This divergence in perspectives highlights the different ways thinkers and feelers approach fairness. At the same time, thinkers rely on uniformity and impartiality, and feelers lean towards empathy and individual consideration. Understanding this distinction is crucial in navigating various interpersonal and professional situations. Personal values versus critique. Regarding personal values and critique, thinkers and feelers often adopt different approaches. Thinkers tend to value competence and effectiveness, viewing critique as a necessary tool for improvement. They are not afraid to be blunt or critical if it means identifying flaws that need correction. This approach is driven by the desire for logic, clarity, and progress. They believe that pointing out errors or areas of weakness enables individuals or systems to improve and become more efficient. Conversely, Feelers place a high value on relationships and interpersonal harmony. They often prioritize appreciation and praise over critique, focusing on the positives rather than dwelling on flaws. They still need to pay attention to problems or shortcomings. Instead, they prefer to approach them in a gentle, constructive manner that preserves relationships and fosters positive interactions. They believe that encouragement and support can be just as effective, if not more so, in promoting growth and improvement. However, it's crucial to remember that everyone uses objective and subjective factors when making significant decisions, regardless of whether they lean towards thinking or feeling. The critical difference lies in what comes more naturally to each individual. Some people may find it easier to detach and analyze situations objectively, while others may instinctively consider the emotional and relational aspects. By recognizing your natural inclination, you can better understand your decision-making process and learn to balance it with the opposite approach for a more holistic perspective. Cultural bias. Addressing the issue of cultural bias, it's important to note that societal expectations and stereotypes have often labeled men as thinkers and women as feelers. This stereotypical categorization might lead some people to believe that thinking and feeling are gender-specific traits. However, such assumptions are fundamentally flawed. Research and psychological studies debunk these stereotypes, demonstrating that men and women are equally likely to be thinkers or feelers. Neither gender has a monopoly on either thinking or feeling. Both modes of decision-making are universal and transcend gender boundaries. Stereotypes can often hinder self-discovery and personal growth. Recognizing and not letting these biases sway your understanding of yourself is essential. Whether you identify more with thinking or feeling should not be influenced by societal norms or expectations. Instead, it should be a personal journey of understanding how you naturally approach decisions and interact with the world. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to think or feel. The goal is to effectively understand and leverage your unique tendencies in your personal and professional life. Are you a thinker or a feeler? This isn't about labeling or pigeonholing you into a box. Instead, it's about gaining insights into your natural inclinations and decision-making processes. Thinkers are typically logical and analytical. They approach situations objectively, relying on facts, data, and logical principles to guide their decisions. If you're a thinker, you might treat everyone equally, upholding the uniformity principle. You seek truth in situations, focusing on what is factual and verifiable. Your decisions often lack emotional bias, focusing instead on what makes the most logical sense. On the other hand, if you're a feeler, you're likely to be kind, empathetic, and attuned to the emotional nuances of situations. You rely more on your subjective inner values, emotions, and the potential impact on people to guide your decisions. Instead of treating everyone the same, you consider each person as unique, considering their specific circumstances and feelings. Your primary pursuit in any situation is goodness. You aim for harmony, understanding, and positive relationships. It's important to note that being a thinker doesn't mean you lack empathy, and being a feeler doesn't mean you can't be logical. These are not exclusive categories but different tendencies in processing information and making decisions. So, as you reflect on these traits, think about which ones resonate more with you. Understanding whether you lean more towards being a thinker or a feeler can help you navigate your interactions and decisions more effectively. Strengths and blind spots. In this exploration of thinking and feeling, it's essential to remember that one is not inherently better than the other. Both are valid and rational ways of making decisions, each with unique strengths and potential blind spots. Thinkers often excel in situations that require logical analysis, objectivity, and detachment from emotional factors. Their strength lies in their ability to dissect complex problems, assess facts, and make decisions that are grounded in logic. However, their blind spot may be dealing with emotionally charged situations or people who value empathy over objectivity. They might come across as unsympathetic or too critical because they focus more on the logical aspects rather than considering the emotional impact of their decisions. On the other hand, feelers shine in scenarios that call for understanding, empathy, and consideration of personal values. They are adept at navigating interpersonal relationships, fostering harmony, and making decisions that align with their values and the well-being of others. Their blind spot, however, could be in situations where emotional considerations need to be set aside for more objective, fact-based decision-making. They struggle when making tough decisions that may upset others but are necessary from a logical standpoint. By understanding whether you lean more towards being a thinker or a feeler, you can become aware of your strengths and potential blind spots. This awareness can empower you to make more informed choices, navigate relationships effectively, and improve your less dominant traits. Remember, the goal is not to categorize yourself strictly into one box or the other, but to understand your natural inclinations and learn how to balance them effectively. Before we wrap up, remember that discovering your full personality type involves understanding your preferences in extroversion or introversion, sensing or intuition, and judging or perceiving. So, stay tuned for more brain bite-sized videos to explore those facets of your personality. Until next time, keep exploring the intricacies of your mind, and remember, whether you're a thinker or a feeler, you're an essential piece of the puzzle in this vast, diverse world. Thanks for watching, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more brain-boosting content.